Coming up on Naperville News 17, a local cashier is fired after questioning customers' citizenship. The sale of Little Friends land to North Central College is canceled, and a surprise trip to the friendly confines for a Highlands Elementary student. Hello everyone, I'm Kim Pierce. Thanks for joining us for this week's Naperville News. A recent video shows a Naperville gas station employee questioning customer citizenship. Our very own Christian Canizal shares with us the video and its aftermath.
A Buc-ee's gas station employee has been fired after a video of the clerk questioning a customer's citizenship went viral. The minute-long clip shows a Buc-ee's employee telling several Hispanic women, quote, to go back to their country.
What is your problem?
They need to go back to their country.
Why?
It's illegal.
You don't care. You be quiet. You don't care. I call the police. You don't care. What?
ICE will come.
I hate you.
Bye.
The woman left, but shortly returned. At that point, the clerk and a customer in line told them to leave.
You have no right.
You have no right.
You have no right.
I put it in the Facebook.
None of y'all have a right to leave.
Llama a la policía.
Carolina Butron was addressed in a second video. She joined a protest group yesterday asking for an apology from Buc-ee's.
I do feel like it has to do a lot with Trump and how people are acting out against Hispanics, different communities, you know, and it's not fair because we're not doing anything to harm you.
The Facebook post has been viewed over 500,000 times at the time of this recording. Some say the discrimination the woman faced is all too familiar.
It reminded me a lot of what my family used to go through when I was younger because I'm a daughter of immigrant parents. And so seeing that and the similarities kind of brought some flashbacks to me. I thought that it's important that this not continue.
Gonzalez and others organized the event. Buc-ee's released a statement to several news outlets saying the comments of this associate are not reflective of the core values of Buc-ee's convenience stores. Naperville officials also have seen the video, with Mayor Steve Chirico saying on his Facebook page, "Hate has no home here in Naperville. Quite frankly, this type of behavior has no place in society at large. Our city prides itself on being open and inclusive to all." The Naperville Police Department are currently investigating the situation. For Naperville News 17, I'm Christian Canizal.
Naperville City Council recently discussed whether recreational marijuana dispensaries will be allowed in the city. Naperville News 17's Casey Krajewski tells us more.
Though marijuana will be legalized statewide, Naperville is preparing to opt out of the retail sale of recreational adult use cannabis. At the most recent Naperville City Council meeting, the dais heard from several speakers on the issue, including Grassroots Cannabis and Green Thumb Industries. Green Thumb currently operates Naperville's only medical cannabis dispensary, while Grassroots petitioned to open a location somewhere along Route 59. Other public speakers felt allowing cannabis sales would hurt Naperville's brand as a family-friendly city.
This is the first step towards not becoming a kid-friendly city if you pass this thing. So my preferred would you be to go to option 2, take a nice vote, and forget about this stuff.
The discussion frequently got off topic, turning into a debate over whether recreational marijuana should be allowed in the city, a decision that's out of the hands of Naperville's policymakers.
I think it's hard to quarrel with the cost to society for the use of any drugs, whether it be alcohol, tobacco, or marijuana. But that horse has left the barn, right? They're all going to be legal January 1, and there's not a lot we can do about that.
Others felt that wasn't necessarily true.
Naperville has an exceptionally strong reputation. I think we're in a position that we're viewed as being very credible, and I think there's an opportunity that if we were to reject this particular idea and notion that we would encourage the sale of marijuana, I think other communities may as well, and I think ultimately that could lead to policy changes in our capital.
Multiple council members argued legal sales would give the city more control over the drug, compared to marijuana sold illegally or brought in from neighboring towns.
If we allow it to be sold here, we can control a whole lot of stuff. As far as we can look at the regulations and the restrictions and the controls and all those different things. So I think it kind of protects consumers who want to buy it.
After each council member spoke on the issue, a narrow vote of 5-4 was reached to prepare documentation to opt out of legal sales. The sticking point for multiple council members was a lack of data on municipalities that opt out in states that have legalized pot.
On the issue of opting out and neighboring municipalities opting in, I think it's clear we don't have data on that. I would submit that we should try to get that data. And if we don't have it, I think the more prudent approach is to opt out and wait to get that data rather than to opt in and guess at it or just not know.
Kelly said he could potentially change his vote in the future, depending on that information. City staff will return with documentation to prohibit recreational marijuana sales at a future meeting. For Naperville News 17, I'm Casey Krajewski.
Naperville currently has one medical marijuana facility, 3C Compassionate Care, which will continue to dispense medical cannabis products. The rezoning of land along South Washington Street is helping a new development move forward, but some neighbors still have concerns. Naperville News 17's Christine Lena has the details.
Nobody in the neighborhood who lives there cares what the size of the building is. That's not important. What's important is how many people are going to be coming in and out of the neighborhood every day.
That was the message from many neighbors of 1001 South Washington Street at the most recent Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. Formerly the location of a PNC bank, the site is set to become a mixed-use office and retail development, featuring a drive-through coffee shop proposed by Tartan Realty.
Tartan is only proposing a total of 28,500 square feet, which that square footage is spread out over 3 buildings on 3.5 acres. Which is approximately 10% of the square footage that's allowed in the OCI zoning district, and only 57% approximately of the total square footage permitted in the B1 zoning district.
The commission voted unanimously to approve the rezoning of the property, which will change it from an OCI or office commercial institutional to a B1 neighborhood convenience shopping center district. But many neighbors were concerned with traffic and safety issues, as the site is just a few blocks from an elementary school.
I'm very concerned with how the safety of my children and their friends walking to school will be impacted by the addition of a development that could allow for drive-through traffic entering from and exiting onto streets used by elementary school students.
Tartan's traffic study did show a slight increase in traffic on the neighborhood roads. Yet the commission unanimously agreed with city staff's recommendation to vote in favor of the rezoning. They say B1 is more compatible with the community shopping district just east of the property and more appropriate than OCI zoning, which would open the opportunity for an even larger development.
We're not comparing this to a bank. That's not what's being proposed, right? We're comparing this to what is in front of us. But we do have to look at what is possible with the existing OCI zoning. And so the things that can go in that right now by right without making any changes will generate traffic. There's going to be traffic on Gardner and Washington and Sycamore and Catalpa.
The positive recommendation now goes to Naperville City Council. Reporting for Naperville News 17, I'm Christine Lena.
Neighbors of the development had also started a petition to help stall the rezoning called helpsavethehighlands.com. That petition garnered over 400 signatures. After the break, the Fifth Avenue project continues to move forward.
Welcome to Ted's Montana Grill, where Naperville meets the spirit of the American West. Pour over a menu as vast as the American plains that inspired it. The foundation of their menu is bison. Whether you try a signature burger or a perfectly grilled bison steak, you'll wonder where this meat has been all your life. Not only does Ted's deliver on the food, they deliver on hospitality too.
After much back and forth, Little Friends is now going in a different direction and not selling its property to North Central College. Our own Christine Lena tells us more.
The sale of the Little Friends property to North Central College has been canceled. The nonprofit, which provides services to people with autism, terminated the purchase agreement after the process to demolish historic buildings was changed in June.
We can't maximize the value of this asset unless we're able to do that. And the intention is what we're trying to do is we're not cash rich. Let's not pretend that we are. And so this is the single most significant asset that we have as an organization, and because of that, that's the reason why we're doing what we're doing.
North Central College asked Little Friends to rezone the property to College University instead of its current residential zoning in order to purchase the property and build a 3-story health sciences building. But that decision was delayed in City Council, which was concerned with the broad parameters in the College University zoning.
I have incredible respect for North Central College. I understand their position. I understand why they're doing what they're doing, but it's a business decision. And the reality is, they made a business decision that was in the best interest of their organization, and I respect that. At the same time, we have to make a business decision that's in the best interest of Little Friends.
North Central College sent a letter to neighbors when the agreement was recently terminated, saying, "While we were and remain interested in acquiring the property for the college's evolving needs, we respect the Little Friends' request to terminate the agreement and pursue other options as it works toward completing its relocation. North Central College will remain supportive of the entire Little Friends community." Little Friends now looks to demolish and sell its 4 acres of property at 140 South Wright Street in order to move to its new facility in Warrenville next year.
We need the proceeds from this sale to be able to cover the cost of the new building that we want to acquire.
Little Friends will have to present a petition to the Historic Preservation Commission and City Council to get permission to demolish its 4 buildings. That includes the Kraler Mansion, a 1909 home where furniture company leader Peter Kraler lived for a year. But the organization isn't opposed to other options for the historic building.
We've offered the building to the city of Naperville. We've offered them to come in and in June of 2020, when we plan to move, to pick it up and move it to another location. We have offered to sell a piece of property to the city to be able to move it to that.
Briggs says artifacts from the home were also offered to the Naperville Heritage Society. All of those options will be discussed at a future presentation to the city. But for now, Little Friends will be marketed as a residential zoned property, hopeful to find a buyer to enable the move to its new facility on Deal Road and Mill Street next year.
We do incredible work, and the people that do the heavy lifting deserve so much credit. But what if, and imagine what they could do if we had a better facility that enabled us to be able to be in the 21st century compared to the building that we have to work in.
Reporting for Naperville News 17, I'm Christine Lena.
Mike Briggs says the marketing of the Little Friends property should begin in the next few weeks. After several months of ironing out details of the project, City Council once again discussed the future of 5th Avenue. Naperville News 17's Casey Krajewski has more.
The 5th Avenue redevelopment project is moving on to the next step. Naperville City Council voted at a recent workshop to direct developer Ryan Companies to prepare a baseline concept for the project.
It's not at the same level of detail that you would see with drawings that are submitted to the Plan Commission. It's a tool, it's a foundation for understanding where we go from here. It's a starting point. I think we've heard it defined that way.
Ryan will take input received on the 2 concepts released in August last year and consolidate them into one. An initial motion by Councilman Patrick Kelly suggested putting the project back out for proposal so council could see what other developers can offer.
I understand the urgency to move forward, and I think we should keep working at it and say what our vision is. Here's what we want it to look like. Maybe Ryan can come back with a revised plan. Maybe another developer could as well. But what we've got today, I just don't think it gets it done. I wish it did, and if it did, I'd be happy to go forward, but I just don't think it's there.
That motion failed by a vote of 4 to 5. Then, with the alternative being to remove the project from the 2019 work plan, Council voted 7 to 2 to allow Ryan to create their baseline concept. However, several on the dais expressed concern that there wasn't a wow factor in either of Ryan's previous renderings.
Like some others have said, I wasn't impressed with A or B the first time around, but because I think it lacked that wow factor that we all want to be happy to move forward with. So when you're redesigning, give us some wow, because we need some wow bad.
Several moving parts of the complex project have stabilized since Ryan first requested moving forward last September. The DuPage Children's Museum will remain in its current location. Council set a goal of 20% affordable housing in the project, and city staff released conclusions from a commuter parking study. These factors will all be taken into account in the baseline concept, which Ryan Companies will work on over the next 90 days. For Naperville News 17, I'm Casey Krajewski.
Hurricane Barry made national headlines as it swept through parts of Louisiana, and one local organization gave a lending paw. Naperville News 17's Rachel Pearson has the story.
12 dogs and 15 cats were in Louisiana shelters before Hurricane Barry made landfall. Now they're safe and sound thanks to Adopt Animal Shelter.
We have a partnership with ASPCA, and so they contacted us saying, hey, there's going to be a crisis soon with the flooding that's going to happen. Can you guys help out?
These animals had to be moved out of the shelters to make room for pets displaced by the storm. Liz Bierman says they had to pull all their resources when these pets arrived over the weekend.
They needed all their vaccines. They needed, some needed microchips, some need spaying and neutering, deworming and all of that. So, we had to put all of our resources in place, get everybody on board and get them vetted as quick as possible so that we can get them in homes as quick as possible as well.
Adopt says it wouldn't have been possible without donations and the Hinsdale Animal Shelter, who helped coordinate the transport of these rescued pets. Reporting for Naperville News 17, I'm Rachel Pearson.
Most of the animals are available for adoption with special pricing to help them find their forever home sooner. Coming up, a summer camp with a science twist.
Explore downtown Naperville with over 100 shops from national favorites to one-of-a-kind boutiques, plus over 50 restaurants, and health and beauty options too. Downtown Naperville is the premier shopping destination in the western suburbs. And don't forget about Downtown Naperville gift cards. They make a perfect gift for every occasion. Come shop, dine, stay, and have fun in downtown Naperville.
We live in a safe community, but not a crime-free community. If you see something, say something. Be a Naperville Crime Stopper.
Naperville City Council pumped the brakes on construction to expand the 95th Street Book Road intersection. Our own Casey Krajewski tells us why.
Due to a high level of traffic and crashes more than 3 times that of similar intersections, city staff recommended a change to the 95th Street Book Road intersection. That would include putting in right turn lanes for all 4 directions of traffic and additional northbound and southbound lanes on Book Road. But many residents aren't pleased with the plan. Speakers claimed despite city staff's research, the proposed plan will only increase traffic and noise while also decreasing safety.
The things I've seen on that road are very scary for family areas, and a bigger intersection won't make these accidents stop. More cars in a smaller space won't make the intersection safer for children.
Residents also said they weren't properly notified of the multiple public meetings to discuss the expansion. City staff said they felt their notification strategies were more than adequate, with emails, mailers, and flashing signs at the intersection in the days prior to each meeting. However, council sided with the residents 6-3 and directed staff to reinitiate public outreach before moving forward. For Naperville News 17, I'm Casey Krajewski.
City staff will withdraw the project's application for federal funding from the Highway Safety Improvement Program. Council also voted unanimously to approve a cost-sharing plan with the Naperville Township Road District for purchasing rights of way along North Aurora Road. The city is working with the township to widen the roadway between Frontenac Road and Weston Ridge Drive. The 2 entities are negotiating with property owners to purchase rights of way to expand the road from 1 lane in each direction to 2 lanes each way and a center turn lane. Acquiring the land is expected to cost just over $800,000. Naperville's director of TED, Bill Novak, said traffic gets bottlenecked in the area after trains arrive from the nearby Route 59 metro station. The project will also include updated traffic signals and a bike lane on the south side of the road. In March, the Naperville Fire Department named Amy Scheller as its newest deputy chief, making her the first woman to hold the position. The department recently held a ceremony at the Municipal Center to honor her alongside 7 other promoted employees.
It means a lot. I think it was solidified today as I was watching all the promotions and the new members. The deputy chief position is an important role, and I'm looking forward to learning a little bit more and moving forward.
Scheller has served in the NFD for more than 20 years, starting with the department in 1998. She was also Naperville's first female fire lieutenant, named about 10 years ago. She hopes her promotion will be an inspiration to other young women.
We have some women on our department now, and I would love for them to be motivated by, some of the accomplishments that I've had, but I'm ready, to kind of move past and get to work. And I'm fortunate that I have a great network of mentors, role models, teachers, that are both male and female.
Both the fire department and the Naperville Police Department now have a woman serving at the second highest level of their organizations. A new playground in town means more summer fun for kids.
1, 2, 3. Great job.
The Naperville Park District hosted a ribbon-cutting ceremony to celebrate the official reopening of Three Meadows Playground. The $200,000 project was worth the 12-week wait as kids enjoyed climbing the new additions the park has to offer.
This one does have a unique slide. It's called a roller slide. So each individual bar rolls as you go down the slide. And also there's additional swings that was part of the resident request. So they have 4 belt swings and also 2 the bucket swings for the 2 to 5-year-olds and 2 ADA swings as well.
Neighborhood residents voted on which design they liked most and what they wanted to see in the 5,000 square foot space. One request, likely from parents, was the addition of a shaded picnic area. Earlier this summer, the Park District renovated Heatherstone Park and will be working on JC's Park after Labor Day. Dissecting animals is part of the high school experience, but what if you had the chance to learn about animal anatomy before that? Naperville News 17's Aisha Ashley Hausa tells us where.
These kids aren't afraid to get their hands dirty to get a closer look at the anatomy of animals. They get that chance at the Robert Crown Center's Body Check Camp, which started 24 years ago in Hinsdale to get younger students exposed to the medical and science fields. And for the 8th year, Naperville students have gotten the opportunity as well.
For some of them, it really either sparks their interest or builds it, and it's in the past been for some, they realize it's not something, so it's sometimes better to find that out at a younger age than college.
This year's week-long camp had 40 eager junior high students who dissected different animals, from bullfrogs to fetal pigs. The camp, which also has junior counselors, allows them a look into the body systems and where the organs are located.
So as a junior counselor, I really like working with the kids and doing the dissections. So not only do I get to do one of my favorite things, dissect things, but also teach people about it. And all these kids are so intelligent, and it's just an amazing experience.
But it's not all about the lab work. They have the chance to hear from working professionals like an operating room nurse and learn about the history of these fields.
The field trip we had on Wednesday to the International Museum of Surgical Science was really interesting because we were able to see how they did surgical things back then, because there was no anesthesia and all this modern technology.
A healthy start to a future career. Reporting for Naperville News 17, I'm Aisha Ashley Hausa.
You can check out the Robert Crown Center's website to learn more about the summer camp. Up next, a local business that likes to horse around.
We live in a safe community, but not a crime-free community. If you see something, say something. Be a Naperville Crime Stopper.
Stay up to date on what's happening in our neighborhoods and schools at City Hall and all across town with NCTV 17 News Update. Emailed directly to your inbox once a day, Monday through Friday, this 2-minute video not only tells you the latest news, but shows it to you, all at your fingertips.
And that's what's happening right here in Naperville.
And the best part, it's free. So sign up today at nctv17.com/subscribe.
There's more than meets the eye when it comes to equestrian sports. While the pageantry of it gives off an illustrious facade, there's hard work being done behind the scenes here at Trillian Equestrian.
I grab my helmet, my boots, where I keep them in the back. I go get my tack. I have a saddle, bridle, couple saddle pads. And then I take my horse out, brush them down. We've got different types of brushes. So you start with the curry comb, then you've got the hard brush, the soft brush. You also pick their feet and brush their mane and tail. And then after that, I tack them up, and then I take them into the arena, sometimes outside, sometimes inside.
Avital Seletsky is around these barns a lot. A Naperville North 2019 graduate, she's off to the University of Maryland to study animal sciences. something Trillian has prepared her well for.
I had a horse that was injured for a couple months, and I would just walk with her on the ground. Those are the times when you bond with them the most, when they're sick or injured and you're just helping them on the ground. It's truly the most bonding experience.
Avitel is like many other buzzing around the property, owned and operated by Ann Janke. Aubrey Potagil is just 11 and a recent first-time horse owner.
I just like spending time with the animals. They're fun to ride, and I just think they're pretty animals. They're easy to talk to, and they're nice.
There's also quite a lot of responsibilities.
365 days a year. We don't get a day off. You know, someone has to feed them and give them water and clean their stalls, so there is not a day you can take off.
Ann has been running Trillian Equestrian since 2005. It started as an idea to make the horses more accessible.
I wanted to start a barn to give that ultimate environment to everybody. A lot of the barns are very specific to their disciplines, and this isn't what we call an all-around barn. So we take Western, dressage, hunter jumper, English, and so there's a home for everybody here.
I have been really blessed, and I've been lucky to be able to grow up with horses and be associated with them the way I have been. I mean, I got to grow up with them in my backyard, which was really nice. It's also been something that has taught me a lot along the way.
Kayla Grodowskis is Ann's daughter. Echoing many of the same sentiments as other riders, the nature of caring for horses instills some pretty valuable life lessons.
I've learned patience, I've learned conditioning, and strength. I've built strength, and I've learned how to kind of stay committed to something.
The volume of lessons will also certainly teach you about work ethic. In peak season, Trillian hosts some 100 to 120 lessons a week, giving Kayla a sizable part of the business to help with.
Starting out as just a rider and having my mom do all the stuff she's done, and now I get to teach and I get to do training, and it's been really awesome.
Ultimately, it is a business, and while the work is done for the enjoyment of the riders, there is a financial component, something that this unseasonably wet summer has been messing with.
What do horses eat? They eat hay. Hay has to be baled. First cutting, we're usually on second cutting this time of year, and they haven't even finished first cutting. So we are hundreds of thousands of bales behind to feed horses.
While the dollars and cents may technically keep the business running, the diligent work put in each and every day to take care of the horses is what really keeps Trillian Equestrian the one and only stable in Naperville.
I love it. I love it. I couldn't ask to do anything more.
Reporting for Sports Story Sunday, I'm Kevin Jackman.
And if you have an idea for a sports feature, you can let us know at newstips@nctv17.com. And finally, a dream trip turned into reality for a Naperville kid. Jackson Kernkamp and his family went to Wrigley Field for a Cubs game. The 6-year-old saw some batting practice and even got a couple of baseballs from the opposing team.
You could hang on to it. They have a lot of balls.
That's awesome.
Jackson made it to the friendly confines thanks to the Make-A-Wish Foundation, who fulfills the wishes of kids who have battled critical illnesses. The Highlands Elementary School student was diagnosed in 2018 with a Wilms tumor. After 4.5 months of chemotherapy, he's now in remission and able to fully enjoy the surprises the Cubs had in store. The most exciting of which was meeting his favorite player, Anthony Rizzo. And that's what's happening right here in your neighborhood, Naperville. We'll see you next week. Until then, you can catch up on local news by signing up for our NCTV 17 News Update, delivered right to your inbox Monday through Friday. Sign-up information is right on our website, nctv17.com.
This week's Naperville News 17 is brought to you in part by the following sponsors. This program is partially funded by a grant from the City of Naperville.